Hey guys, it's Matt. Thank you very much for the kind words on the last video. It was something I took a lot of time and wrote up over the past few weeks, and I think it was an adequate analogy as to what all these news programs and truth outlets are for, to keep us penned up and away from the real truth is basically what it boils down to, with Alex Jones being the biggest culprit. I mean, I watched Alex Jones for, I don't know, probably close to 3 years. And there's no doubt, see, that he does. This is, by the way, this is a video about mental health and our mental health and how crazy the people around us are. So, just an introduction per the last video. There is incredible truth revealed in Alex Jones. That's why it just took me. It took me almost a year to come to grips with. Okay, I know this guy's off. Nobody likes him, but there's no way he could be working for the other side, revealing that much truth. But they know the truth is always going to get out in some fashion, and having a raving lunatic take to the streets is what he did of New York City after 9/11, with huge signs screaming in everyone's face. 9/11 was an inside job. And we can see that, it just turns off everybody. Nobody's going to listen to the evidence with that type of presentation. It's what it's for. So you take, at least I think we're closer than a lot of folks in terms of figuring out what might be going on. We still have a long way to go. But in terms of the rest of the masses, Alex Jones is the closest. Of course, he's a graduated animal farmer. He's the closest. But then the presentation is just so everybody's turned off by that. No one's going to listen and take it seriously. That's the point. You guys know that from the last video, and you know that anyway. You knew it anyway. Before I talk about mental health, our mental health is very difficult for me, a lot of people. It is like the Matrix, where people like all of a sudden become like agents, like they act differently towards you, and we'll get into all that. I do this for venting for myself, but also because a lot of people need to hear this, that we're all in the same boat together. But before I do that, I just want one pet peeve that's always been a pet peeve of mine, making these videos for a long time. I don't know, two or three comments every video, something along the lines of, Matt, I'm proud of you. You're getting close. You just have a little more work to do. First of all, I never claim to. Who am I? I mean, I just share some thoughts and ideas. But you know what? You people that do that, a tiny little group, get lost. Get lost. Either share what you know here to move us forward, or get lost. Don't ever tell me again, oh, you're getting close, which implies you have all the answers. And you're so proud of me that I'm getting close. Well, you know what? Share what you have. As far as I know, there's no limit on what can be put in a comment box. You don't know anything, or you'd share it. Get lost. Anybody that gives me that advice, like you know everything. Anyway, it's just very few. Maybe it's like, I don't know. It's like 10 or 15 people over the last few months. It's nothing major, but it is my pet peeve. And I always reply to it, share what you know. Stop telling me how close I am. Anyway, I will have mental health issues if I keep on that issue. Anyway, um, folks, it is like the Matrix to a degree. People we thought we knew just act differently to us. In terms of when you go down this path of investigating what reality is all about, I think in a way, I haven't put all the pieces together. How much of this is simulation, illusion, matrix, real? It doesn't matter for the purposes of this video. Whatever your thoughts are on that, or your thoughts on Mandela effect, we're all in the same boat. That we're outcasts. We're outcasts. And somebody, a very wise commenter, several months ago, or at least 6 months ago, said, Matt, remember in the movie, in the first Matrix, that it wasn't that like Neo broke free, or it wasn't that Morpheus broke him out. The Matrix rejected. This is very interesting. The Matrix rejected Neo, and that is exactly what happened. That all of a sudden, back in Machine World or Pod City, that creature came, or that robot came and put it around Neo's neck, and it's like, this one's a reject, or this one can see. This one's not, brainwashed like all the others. So it's almost like the red pill that Morpheus gave was a way to make him different or an outcast or not go along with the Matrix script. So he wasn't broken out. Okay, Morpheus had no way to go right in there and get him. He was rejected by the Matrix. Very interesting. And somebody said, Matt, you complain about, oh, you have certain degrees and this and that, and you can't get any regular corporate jobs anymore. And I'm working part time right now. It's coming to an end soon. It's been a very interesting experience. It's been a very, in many ways, rewarding experience. But I need to move on. I can't stay with what I'm doing. And people say, Matt, you're being rejected by the Matrix. It's literally that simple, and it can be. It just doesn't make any sense how that could happen. But there's so much going on in this, metaphysical reality, call it whatever you want, that we just don't understand. That is on the table, no doubt about it. So I just wanted to point that out. That it's interesting. The Matrix rejected. So the people around us. I mean, I had an incident with a friend recently. I shared. Well, he's not a friend anymore. Where it just didn't seem like the same person. He knew some of my views from before, so it's not like as soon as I made my views on certain things apparent, he totally became a different person. Like, that Agent Smith morphed himself into that human body. What was it, Matrix 2? He didn't become a totally different person because of my viewpoints, but I asked him to do a few things for me and actually help me get a job. And oh boy, did he change. Whew. It was all of a sudden, he was one of these guys that's always on the phone, reply back immediately. Well, as soon as I put the job application in, he was supposed to help me with, walk down to the human resources manager, put in a good word, 30 seconds of his time. It's not too much to ask. Oh, all of a sudden, wouldn't reply to my emails. Well, if somebody, that's part of the problem with all these people that are on their phones all the time. They text you back in 10 seconds. They email you back within 30 minutes or within a minute. When they don't do that, then something's up. They're revealing their nature, because it's not, they're always on their phones. So he didn't just not get my text and not get my email. So anyway, but that's not even the point of this. The point of this is, certain family members, to me, it's like they just repeat the same brainwashed script, and it is, I don't know what to make of it. It's completely insane. Now, it's funny, they would say I'm insane. So who's really sane? But there was I forget the name of. I saw a YouTube video that was pretty amazing. I don't know, this Russian professor, or I don't know who he was. I only saw it once, and I forget most of the details. He was on the show in the early '80s or late '70s, and the guy interviewing him, was it a PBS show? It wasn't, I don't know, but he was kind of like, the guy interviewing him was just like a typical anchor interviewing all into himself. And this guy he's interviewing is kind of like a conspiracy theorist, and he has some whacked out views, and he wasn't comfortable with the information. So the guy interviewing this guy was just totally, it was like the way when these interviewers, interview David Icke or something. No matter what you think or believe David Icke to be, is irrelevant. When he's interviewed on BBC, they're like in shock. And would you say reptilian? What? And they're never sure how to act around. So the interviewer was like this, but the guy was basically saying, he said, "Did you ever consider that most people in a mental institution actually are the most sane? They actually can see right through the code of this matrix reality." Or he was saying things like that, like. And if you really saw it, we think how crazy people think we are. And we see a portion of it, or a tiny slice of it. And the rest of the world thinks we're nuts. Think if you really saw everything. I'm not, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to leave that out. But think if you saw every bit of it. It would have, maybe people looking in with you, you're totally crazy. Psychosis, paranoid schizophrenia. And he was basically saying, yeah, there's crazy people there and there, but a lot of these people might see reality for what it is. There's some truth to that. It just completely resonated with me. If they're sitting around like, slobbering on themselves and pooping in themselves, maybe they don't see it. But you know what I mean? It was a good point, and the way it was presented was interesting by this guy. I forget his name. I think he's passed on a long time ago. This was an old interview. But the people around me, and I'm sure around you, they just deliver the same script over and over. I have a family member. It's the same thing. Like, they come in, and they'll start laying into me for some reason. Start laying into me. House is dirty. You never clean that tub. Uh, what are you going to do with your life? That job you're working is coming to an end. What are you going to do now? And it's just like it's. I don't feel that there's really any. I don't feel there's. I shouldn't say there's any no caring behind it. No, it's almost like the people saying that they want you to fit into reality script because they're in reality script, which is go to college, mortgage up a huge home, lease an expensive car, get a job with a nice business card with a neat title. Then you'll be praised throughout the community. If you don't follow that script, it's almost like they're upset at you because it affects them, especially parents. Um, and it doesn't come from a true position of total love, like I really care about you. I kind of hear in it, I care about, you know, not that's necessarily it's selfish, but it's almost like a matrix agent. Like this one is taking the red pill, and I'm gonna be possessed by some sort of matrix agent and just regurgitate or vomit up the script that this reality is. So this one stepped off the path. The path is go to college, mortgage up a huge home, mortgage out your life, get into debt, lease an expensive car, make sure you go into business and move up the ladder. Make sure you're so busy and doing all of that 80 hours a week you never notice anything that's going on around you. Never get in touch with your true self. Never get in touch with the real reason you're here on this earth. Just make sure you buy more. Your TV's only 55 inches and everybody has 80. You're kind of behind the eight ball there. Get on with it. 80 inches. So it's like that type of script. And so if you move past it, everybody around you, not one person will ever come forth and say, what are you doing here? Like, what made you change? I want to learn. I want to understand you. I want to, it's like, beep, beep. This person stepped off the assembly line. This, get them. And they're not like physically come get them, but come rip into them. Come mock them. Come treat them like shit. It's hard to describe, but you guys understand what I'm saying. And the people have been, the videos of mine that they've liked over the years the most have been these mental health videos. And I'm, as difficult as this can be, if you take this journey and you step off the conveyor belt of what the reality wants, of course, you just start with the basics. Would I go back into the matrix again, like Cypher, eating his steak, saying, "I don't want to remember nothing. I want to go back and I want to be rich. Go back to the matrix. I want to be." I wouldn't give it up. Absolutely not. Would I go back? A lot of people make comments here and in other channels that God, I wish some days wish I didn't know what I know and I could just get back in the matrix. Or, no, I don't feel that way and I'm not deluding myself. Absolutely not. Do not want to go back. It's almost like part of this life, part of what we're here to do, part of the journey or the test or the learning experience is to actually see it. So if you can't see it, you can't see that the reality is some sort of construct with an evil overlay, with a sinister overlay at this point, with a hijacked type of overlay. If you can't see it, that's step one. I mean, we have these legends and lore of St. Peter and people analyzing us after our death. I think that's step one. You went through your life, you mortgaged up, you indebted up, $600 lease on a BMW 6 Series, chased more sex acts, then you did the family thing, and that's wonderful, and you did right by your kids, but you were working 85 hours a week, basically up until the day you had the heart attack, and you didn't learn anything. So, cast you back in or cast you back out, they're not gonna win. Okay, if there is any sort of judgment, and I don't, of course, it's not a person judging another. Who knows what sort of cosmic judgment we're subject to, and there's no religious tone to that at all. So the purpose of this life is just to figure out that all this life has meaning. The purpose of life is to truly understand that this life has meaning. We're here for a reason. We're here to learn something. It's a test. Obviously, passing the test has nothing to do with chalking up sex acts or mortgaging up or a second home. That's not going to score well at the end of the day. So, I don't know where I was going with that, but it's like this: the people all follow this script. And actually, I was saying you just to be able to see it is step one. So don't ever regret that you can see it. In my opinion, I don't regret it and never will. Um, is there a, do I think we are in any way crazy or just, a lot of people will come forward and say, Matt, every time we look at something, it's another conspiracy. How could that be possible? Maybe there's something wrong with us. No. Okay. I sit here with what I believe to be completely sound mind. Still, I don't believe that's the case. I believe there's just very few of us that are actually going into the depths of this reality construct. I don't believe there's anything wrong with us. And when we see that one more thing we look into is a fraud, how's that possible? Maybe there's something wrong with me. No. Okay, no. I there's just if that is ever if that would ever be on the table for me, I would need to do what I'd love to do, which I never will get the opportunity. Um, I I would love to I love to debate. I would love to have 2 hours of uninterrupted or live recording of me debating somebody that wants to debate me that the official story of 9/11 is real. I mean, I would love that. So, but it never, it never happens. It never will happen. I doubt anybody would want to step up and do that. Deep down, they know that something's not quite right. I think their subconscious is a lot more intelligent than their idiot frontal lobes that just parrots the script of this reality. But it would take, what I'm just going to say is, it would take me getting completely beaten up in a debate or two for me to start questioning my own thinking on 9/11 and the million other things we think are some sort of reality construct, fake reality, faux reality, or script or conspiracy. So I was like, well, yeah, I just got beaten up by this. Took to the podium, and when I said, explain to me how an inflated tire was at the bottom of WTC 1, an inflated tire made it through the building, made it through hundreds of thousands of pounds of smashed and sharp concrete pieces and steel pieces and broken columns, and it spit out this inflated tire, spit out the other side, and then it landed at the bottom intact. I mean, I think I could go to the World Trade Center. The Empire State Building, when I was up there, well, it's a long time ago. They probably don't have it. You could go outside on the roof, and there's just this like fence, 6 foot bars. You could go right to the bars. You're outside on top of the Empire State Building. I don't know if they have it, but I'd like to go up there and just take a tire, and obviously I wouldn't do this. Toss it off, just kill somebody below, obviously. So nobody's gonna do it. You feel like you have to put these disclaimers out. When you have 25,000 subscribers, I don't want somebody coming to me saying, Matt, you suggested this guy should throw a tire off, and somebody actually did it. We live when we put these types of ideas out, to say we're targets of some sort is probably an understatement. So no, nobody should throw a tire. But the point is, if somebody did, hypothetically, it would pop. Just that dropping a tire by itself, without the explosion, the fireball, and it going through a building. So, you know, I'll say that to the person I'm debating, and I don't think there's any way they'd have an answer for that, but maybe there is, and then maybe they totally put me in my place. So if I'm totally taken down in a few debates, I might say, wait, maybe I'm thinking about this wrong. But it's never going to happen, and I don't think I would, again, love to debate anybody on any of these topics, because I think I would completely clean their clock. Um, but again, if in lieu of that happening, I'm never ever going to question my own sanity on this issue. Even if we're the best way to think about this, and we have to stay true to it. Even if we are the last person on our island that thinks a certain way, and everybody, I mean everybody, there isn't even a local conspiracy group down the block to go to, or YouTube like this with these sorts of channels doesn't exist. Stick to your guns. Never ever move off what you think. Never ever go back and conform just for the sake of conforming. I don't think I ever will give in that regard. Even if it's becoming like, it's almost becoming like Invasions of the Body Snatchers, and it's been a long time since I've seen it. But remember, Donald Sutherland and others, where everybody was body snatched or possessed by some alien or something. I don't remember. It's a long, long time ago. It might be 25 or 30 years since I've seen it. And I just remember somebody at the end thinks Donald Sutherland's still, not infected or whatever happened, and he just turns towards the person and he points and he goes, he acts like that. He's just like screaming like the alien, like That's one that can see. Round them up. So it's almost like people are getting like that, like not screaming and screeching at you that there's one that can see, but they really do act a certain way towards you. And I think there's two totally different things going on, or even three. There's the frontal lobes, or the thinking part of the brain, or the ego, or the part of the brain that thinks in language. That that part of the brain's not in on it. I don't think that part of the brain's saying, oh, we got to get this guy. I've got to be son. This conspiracy theorist stepped off the path or off the conveyor belt, and I think they might think, oh, this guy's a little out there, and why would he jeopardize that big job thinking those things? And it's all about it's a dumb part of the brain. I think the subconscious is much more powerful, much more intelligent. That's the part that can literally become your enemy, or if it's been brainwashed or even mind controlled in some way through things we don't understand. It's the subconscious of these people around us that will plot against us. And I know that's so conspiratorial and crazy. Anybody's stumbling upon this guy is nuts. It's maybe I'm not saying it exactly the right way, but I don't think, if like this family member that gave me the same old lectures over and over, what are you going to do with your life? It's like that Twisted Sister video, or all the same stuff, and you seem depressed, and you need to. It's almost like one step short of you need to see a psychiatrist or psychologist. So yeah, my counseling sessions are these videos and the comments I get back, but I don't think they're like trying to get me in the thinking part of the brain, but subconsciously they may be. If you understand what I'm saying, the people think they're in control of everything. I've said it before. It's just like a pilot at the beginning, at the flying at the head of the plane. The pilot's going to put down the landing gear. All they do is push a button. That's the thinking part of the brain, the part that thinks in language, ego, frontal lobes. That pilot has no idea how that landing gear goes down for the most part. How many 400 pieces move together, the hydraulic fluid is pumped in, what motors operate. If a motor goes down, the backup motor. The pilot doesn't know that. He pushes a button, landing gear goes down. That's the brain. That's the thinking part of the brain. I might know I want to run to the end of my block, but I don't execute how my muscles fire, how much electrolytes need to be balanced, how many heartbeats need to happen, how the eye blinks go up. All that is done underneath in a much more powerful part of the brain. So if people around us, because we step off the reality script, are out to get us, they don't have to be consciously aware of it. You understand what I'm saying? They still could be um, like, what did I say about the Bible? Reference to somebody that winks related to Santa Claus a few videos back, plotting perversity against us. And I did take that video down. It was just applicable for Christmas. And I will address this for the 50th time, why I take videos down. Is there a chance that YouTube's going to come with strikes on my Santa Claus video? Probably not. But those images were copyrighted images. Why would I take the risk of leaving it up? I mean, I just don't understand how many people have said, do you take your videos down? I have had issues with the last Texas channel. Once we discuss something like this, yeah, I don't think there's probably any way me talking about something they can come and take me down, but who knows? Why keep it up? If you're listening to this now, we're communicating this. We're going to continue to talk about this stuff in the future in a way where we have a little bit more information. Why should I let this video linger just so it can be a target of some sort of strike? Or there's no point in it if you want this channel to remain, or I want to keep the channel. I don't monetize. The reason people linger out their 400 videos is so they all cha-ching, 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 keep collecting money. I don't want to have to address that again, but I will. I'm sure I will. Matt, did you take your videos down every time I make a video? Yes, I do. People have no understanding of censorship nowadays, and we are actually targets to some degree. If it's just me sitting here talking about stuff, then I'm the least exposed. Okay, so and most of my videos are like this. But if there's something that has images or whatever, I just can't afford to take that risk. Anyway, so in summary, I really believe in it. It's not a rationalization. We are, as few of us as there are, we are the sane ones. Don't wish to be back in the Matrix. Somehow we are not in the same way influenced by the mind control, the subliminals, the temptations, the conveyor belt of the script. We're not bound to it the way most people are. For some reason, it doesn't matter why it is. If we Rh negative blood, or I never had a smartphone, maybe that's it. It just doesn't matter. If you are where you are at this point, we're probably gonna not we're not going to break too many minds free at this point. It's pretty much whoever's here is pretty much here. We'll get a few people here and there, or a few hundred people here and there every day, or around the country will see truth, and or a few thousand. There's still over 300 million. It's not a lot, and I don't think we're going to have a mass unless something major happens that we can use and say, remember we've been telling you about this? Well, here it is. So, I mean, I don't think we want to wish that scenario on us. I don't think anybody just listening to that, don't think about that, don't manifest that, because that's the effed up scenario, or the major league high noon scenario that they want. And even though it would open people's eyes, we don't want that. I've talked about some way they're trying to get us to manifest something, and I don't think we should go along with it. Keep picturing the world and speaking about the world that you want to see. And it starts with politics, and just the joke, the absolute scripted, poorly acted joke that plays out in front of us on the world news. And it's the point of another video, but we just say, how could it possibly, since it's so ridiculous now, and we've completely woken up to it since it took that next jump or next level of ridiculousness, how come everybody around us still thinks it's completely real? Because it has truly changed. It's not the same serious presentation of reality that they used to try to pull off. It's a ridiculous joke. I actually went back, because I never looked at the Kavanaugh hearings, and I just went back and I said, I've got to take a 20-minute look at this. And it was just like, what? The guy was so unlikable. And then there's that theory that it was the girl that was testifying against him was actually him. And that who knows? I mean, that stuff is probably put out by the system itself to get us to say something crazy, or what would appear to be crazy to the people around us. So the important things we have to say are never taken seriously. I mean, that is a game they have played in the past. We might have important things to say to the people around us about 9/11, or how the banking system is a complete fraud, and banks just make up money on a computer like 10 minutes before they give you that cashier's check. Then you come out of your closing after you bought the house all happy. You're all happy that you went into 30 years of indentured servitude and slavery to the bank. You're all happy about it. All happy that you've got to go work your ass off for 30 years to pay back with real money that was created in a fake or faux manner, and then you have to pay interest on top of that, which doesn't even exist in the system, but it's like a celebration. You pop a cork after your mortgage closing. I mean, I did it myself. It's the script we all used to adhere to. It's just it's mind-boggling. But that's one thing. We have all good things to share with people, but we approach someone and say, "Did you see the woman that was testifying against Kavanaugh? Oh, that was actually Kavanaugh." I mean, that's not going to go very far. Everything you have to say after that by anybody around you will be rejected. You will be then picked up and placed in this crazy bucket, or whatever this bucket is, forever. The script does that to us. It lures us in with these types of things, and then we present it to people around us, and we're tagged as whatever, and that tag never comes off. So the script is expert at that sort of thing as well. And finally, all this stuff about I'm still watching, mud floods, lost civilization, Tartaria stakes, lost civilizations, free energy, whether it be Flat Earth British or Max Egan. I'm watching. I haven't decided a thing. I watch skeptically. There are still reasons to be skeptical of that, not jump right into it. It's interesting. I watch. I haven't formed any conclusion about it. That's the best way to go about it for now. Thanks, guys.